What's up, everybody? It is a good day. You want to know why? Two reasons. Number one, the market's basically at all-time highs. And two, I got a haircut. So for those reasons, I'm super excited. Plus, my mom's coming in town. I get to see her. I haven't seen her in a couple of years since the pandemic and everything. So I'm a little pumped up. But we are here to talk about earnings season. And there are two reports that I think that stand out to me more than any other reports that I've seen thus far. One of these stocks are names that a lot of you are going to know. And then another one might be one that you are kind of familiar with, but it's not one that's definitely on the lips of the media. So we're going to go over those reports. I'm going to tell you why I think these companies are just doing some great stuff and also why their stock is ramping, right? Like, what did they say in their earnings report that's getting everybody excited? Because that typically is what leads to big money buying in the shares, right? And that's what's so important about following the big money is you want to hear how the guidance is, because if it's good, the big money will pile in and lift those shares higher. Hey, I'm Luke Downey. Here's another edition of Lessons with Luke. I just want to make you a better investor. So if you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, because we want to have legions of people that want to make money in stocks. So let's go ahead and get into this. The first stock, and here's the other thing. As we get into this, a lot of people, they're all bears and they're worried about the markets doing this or that. Look, it's the summer, okay? Things are moving around, okay? It's earnings season. This is what they do, okay? So just calm down, get your notebook out and start to, look for stocks, write down what these stocks are saying. What are the companies coming out? What are they saying? What's the guidance? Because oftentimes analysts can be behind the ball, and whenever a company raises their guidance, stock goes to the moon. So the first one that we're going to be talking about is a name that I've owned in personal accounts and in managed accounts for years. Love this name. It's got a big dividend growth profile, and it is none other than Garmin. Okay. So Garmin is really cool. They do a bunch of navigation stuff. That's kind of what they were known for, is like, navigation with cars, also in the marine sector with like boats. And then they got into fitness and all this other type of stuff. So a lot of people, they don't hear that much about Garmin, but you look at this chart. This is a multi-year chart. I'm on Yahoo Finance. You can see that this stock is going somewhere and it's going up. And you can see right here, it's breaking out to new highs. And like, what's that all about? Well, let's go ahead and see what their earnings. So they reported earnings a couple of days ago, and I want to just go over some of the stats that they said, right? Because this is just crazy. So they came out second quarter and they did revenues of 1.33 billion. So that's up 53% year over year, which, who cares about that, right? Because everybody is beating in the second quarter because everything was so bad during the pandemic. But what got this stock really moving were two things. One is they crushed estimates. Okay, the estimates were that they were going to do 1.11 billion in revenue. So they beat that easily with the 1.33. They also beat on EPS, huge. But they came out and they said that fitness grew 40%, outdoor grew 57%, aviation grew 43%, marine grew 66%, automotive grew 74%. So look, across the board, there was growth. It was so good that they even came out and they said, we are going to update our guidance. We think for the year, we're going to do 4.6 billion in revenues. That was their prior guidance, which was 10% growth, year-on-year growth. They came out and said it's going to be 4.9 billion. That's their guide, right? Which would represent 17% growth. So look, estimates were for 10% growth. They come out and they go like, it's going to be 17% growth. Okay. You know what happens at that point? Analysts have to go in, change their models, change their spreadsheets, right? Stock is valued higher at this point. And so that's what I think you're seeing with the stock going out to new highs. I think there's a new narrative. Like, not only is this a dividend stock that's been paying dividend for many years, right? Nice chunky yield, but there's growth in here. And so if you can find a decent yield and growth, that's the holy grail, man. That is what you're trying to do with investing. And so keep that one on your radar. I'm not saying you should buy that one or anything like that, but if you can find stocks that have profiles like this and they're not on everybody's radar, that could be the next big winner. So look, that's a great one, but we got to go into another name that a lot of people are very familiar with, and that is AMD. Now, look, let's go ahead and look at a chart of AMD. And I am looking at Yahoo Finance again. And this chart is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is a multi-year chart. You see this thing climbing, stairway to heaven, everything. And then it's kind of got this little chop. And what I like to see with a stock, especially after earnings and all of that, after a big event, a breakthrough to the upside. That means that there's new information. This stock is now worth more in the eyes of traders and investors. And so let's go ahead and look at why this stock is actually screaming. And to do that, got to look at their report. So they came out, this was, I believe, yesterday for second quarter, 3.85 billion in revenues versus 3.6 billion estimates. Okay. So that alone is good. That's looking in the past. If you beat, that's great. And also they earned 63 cents versus 54 cents the estimate. So across the board, they beat. I don't think anybody was surprised by that. I don't think that got the needle moving until they came to their guidance. And again, this is why guidance is so critical, because there's a lot of stocks that go up, right? But you want to find the ones that actually have the fundamentals to support that up, right? They came out and they said their guidance for Q3 is going to be 4.1 billion in revenue, plus or minus $100 million. This is versus street estimates of 3.8 billion. Okay, so that is just knocking it out of the park. A lot of people are skittish. A lot of people are worried, and they're worried that there's going to be a lower guide. And and when there's a lot of skittishness, anytime you go out with a positive narrative that says, "Hey guys, things are getting better, things are accelerating," right? You can see the bulls start to stampede, and especially with a stock that's hot like AMD. It's very easy for people to build a bullish narrative on this stock, right? And so that's why the message today is, definitely listen to what the guidance is. Listen to these earnings calls, but at the end of the day, follow the juice. Whenever you see a stock breaking out on big volumes, investigate it. Don't chase it because it's a meme stock. Actually look under the hood and say, you know what, these fundamentals might make sense. And if you could say that and you could check some of these boxes, it might be a good stock for you to investigate, or at least invest in, right? Just a little bit here, a little bit there, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to find these outliers. That's what my focus is let's find some great stocks. Let's get into the ones that are likely going to change lives and make our lives a whole lot better in the future. And I think these two companies might have that. They may have the seeds of greatness. And in the near term, their stocks are going up. Sometimes you don't want to be fighting momentum, especially after a really solid report like that. So that's the lesson today. Focus on guidance. Look for some of these earnings reports that are a little bit different. They're not on everybody's, radar. AMD is, but you look at a case in Garmin, something like that. This is what they have been doing for a number of quarters. So this isn't all new, but now that they're breaking out to new highs, maybe there's a lot other investors that are looking at this and saying, you know what, maybe the narrative is a little bit more bullish. I've been a little too bearish on the stock. And so don't be surprised when they guide higher, stocks go up, seeds of greatness. So that's your lesson. Hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next time.